here's the kicker. Titchmarsh has previously opposed plans for a 22,000-panel solar farm in the countryside near his Hampshire home, branding it totally inappropriate. The plan was eventually withdrawn by the developers for technical reasons. So it sounds like he's got a pretty personal reason, it has to be said, to oppose solar. So I would take his view on solar specifically with a pinch of salt, sounding a little bit too NIMBY for my liking on that point, if I'm honest. But John's in Sheffield. Morning, John. What would you like to say?
Hi there. Nice to be on. First of all, I'd like to show my support. Sorry. Hi, can you hear me properly?
Yeah. No, I can hear you loud and clear, mate.
Brilliant. No worries. That's great. So, yeah, I'd like to first of all show some support to Alan Titchmarsh for his comments. I really think he's a trailblazer in the marketplace of ideas. I think mainly for his opposition to solar farms being built. That's something that I truly agree with.
Oh, okay. All right, so what is it about his opposition to the construction of solar panels that you like?
In the optimal society managed as it best would be, we would be able to conserve our land whilst also being able to enact green policy. And that would mean solar panels on houses, on top of buildings across the country, not necessarily on farms and fields, which could be conserved and kept for future generations, as future generations had before us in the past, which weren't future generations at the time. Now, if say we conserve that land and put them on houses, the only reason why we can't is because of capitalist interests. So if you campaign for putting solar farms on land, then you are actively campaigning for capitalist interests. Whereas if you're campaigning for solar panels to not be built on fields, but instead to be built on houses, then you'd be campaigning for communist interests like I do.
Okay, so it's a communist belief to put solar panels on houses. It's a capitalist belief to put solar panels in fields. That's the argument you're putting forward here.
Yeah, because it requires more effort, more like actual thinking and consideration, rather than just what's the cheapest option. And what's the cheapest option is the capitalist option. But also, if you think about it, right, I'm not great at biology, right, but like worms, right, that live underground. Yeah. If you think about whales, for example, they have the chance for air all the time, right? If the worms had concrete on top of them, they'd be suffocating, right? There's a huge area called London where there might be worms. I don't know because I haven't researched it, but like they can't come up for air. Like, is that not wrong?
Yeah, I
don't really know about.
Well, look, I can tell you, John. I've got worms in my garden. I've actually got an abundance of worms in my garden, which is makes me happy to see.
Great.
But I'm not necessarily sure whether.
And me.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Do you grow your own food, John?
I can talk more on like general food stuff.
Yeah. Tell me. Do you grow your own food?
No, I'm a uni student, but I prepare my own food sometimes.
Okay.
I don't grow it, but every week I spend 4 hours making chips from scratch, from cutting them from potatoes, and it takes a lot of time. Like, I'm pretty behind on my coursework and stuff, and it's actually causing me problems. So,
you're behind on.
I don't know. Like, fresh food's good, John, but it takes up a lot of your time.
John, tell me, are you trying to say that you're behind on your coursework? You're behind on your coursework because you spend 4 hours a week making chips. Is that right?
Yeah, it's kind of a problem because it costs like half the price if you buy them frozen. But then I freeze them anyway. No, my thought was I bought the potatoes for the first time thinking this will be cheap as chips, and I got home and realised the error in that thought process and how inherently stupid that was.
Why was it stupid? Why was it stupid? Tell me.
The thought to buy potatoes to make into chips purely because you looked at potatoes and thought they're cheap as chips means you should have just bought chips.
Yeah, but surely the nutritional content of a potato, and possibly as well one that you don't fry yourself, but you're just chopping, cooking yourself, non-processed, because I think that's a huge part of this conversation as well, right? The prevalence of ultra-processed foods. But are you prepared to pay more, John, in order to have something that's a little bit higher quality?
I'd say less, because if you make it, if you buy it, I could buy British carrots, 60p, come in a packet. I watch my mates buying frozen, £1 for a packet, right? And I'm laughing my socks off.
You're making me chuckle this morning, John. If it takes you 4 hours to make chips.
I appreciate that.
Can you?
I could talk more about food and stuff.
Yeah, no, this is great. Tell me more. Tell me more about how you make chips and how it takes you 4 hours, because that's quite a long time.
So I buy 3 packets of, I think they have 4 potatoes in them. I usually buy the sort of medium-sized ones. I don't go for the big ones. I used to go for the big ones, but then I found, because my sister, before I went to uni, she gave me like this machine, which has it's like an egg slicer, right? Mm. But in 3 dimensions, right? And you pull it, and it cuts your potato into it's like throwing a tennis racket at it, basically, right?
Yeah,
if it was made of metal.
Chips it, yeah, nice.
But it's only for a certain size of potato. So I buy ones. Exactly. And it's for a specific size, right? I get those potatoes, I cut them, and it used to take me 6 hours, because I used to peel them too. But then my mate told me, skin on fries are so much classier. So now I'm the classy one in the flat.
Love that for you. Love that. Bougie.
Okay, I shouldn't say that, because that's a little bit... Well, there were other classy members.
Yeah, no, I'm sure your mates are men of distinction as well. But it is nice to be a little bit bougie, and I think sometimes a skin on fry is a pretty classy way of eating potatoes. John, I agree with you.
Thank you. I appreciate the reassurance. And so I stack them in the pan, right, the tray, like Jenga, because I have so many chips they don't fit in a pan unless I stack them up. So they're reaching the grill bars on top of them. It's honestly, I use that oven. I'm so energy efficient, right? You don't even need solar panels if everyone was me, just because I use so little energy from doing that. Yeah. So
and have you found any health benefits from eating your chips in this way, John?
Oh, I don't have many ulcers. That's a big thing.
Well, that's good
I
to
used
hear.
to get them a lot, and now I don't really.
Okay.
But I do eat a lot generally. Yeah, I stop off I go to every day, because I'm in uni. I just go and buy a takeaway, and because I live up north, it's fairly cheap. I've got a fun fact to you, right? Is it okay if I mention specific independent businesses where I live, because of an interesting fact about them?
Yeah. Okay, John. I'll give you permission this
without
once.
advertising.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you. So there's 2 takeaways in Sheffield called Falafel King. I always buy a falafel wrap or a falafel salad every day, right? And the Falafel King places, I don't know if they're independent of one another, but there's one called Falafel King and there's one called Falafel King East. Now, fun fact, Falafel King East is west of Falafel King by a good couple of kilometres, and nobody has told me yet.
You're joking.
My first year, I haven't met that many people, so I don't know the law. Genuinely, I don't know why. It's crazy. And they have similar fonts in the buildings, but they're just so far away from each other. Another thing is, on that note, there's 2 businesses in the main city centre which are called Aslan Kebabs and Aslan Vapes. Named the same name Aslan is in Narnia,
Yeah,
right?
the lion in Narnia.
Same person, but I haven't seen any lions around that. Exactly. But
I hope you haven't seen.
And vapes.
I hope you haven't seen any lions about in Sheffield, John. We're getting a lot of texts asking about how you're going to crack on with your coursework, and if you might need to take a break from making chips in order to do better with your coursework, John. But I'm grateful for your call. I would gently ask, were you out last night?
Thank you.
Were you out last night, or is this call a product of just a sort of a late night revising or making chips, a late night of chip production in the flat?
Chips happens in a couple of hours, so I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern. I'm pulling 24-hour all-nighter tonight, so I can wake up at 2 a.m. tomorrow, start chip manufacturing. Pretty much. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, best of luck with it. Appreciate the call. First time caller there, John in Sheffield. I want John back. I want John back to give us an update on his chip production next time. So Andrea's texting asking if that's Ian Payne ringing up for a laugh and pretending to be someone else. I don't think so. John, thanks for your call. Lovely to talk to you. There's been some feedback as well on John's call beforehand. Chris WhatsApps in, the most dedicated person I've ever heard making homemade chips. What a guy John in Sheffield is. Dominic, we need to know, is John going to knuckle down with his coursework? We do need to know that. And there's more messages as well. Here's one, last one, Mark in Salisbury. Oh dear, half an hour ago I was in bed listening to LBC at low volume while drifting off to sleep. Now I'm in the kitchen, chopping potatoes into chips. The John effect is a powerful one. Ian's in Surbiton. Morning, Ian.
Morning, Ollie. On John, mate, if you carry on the way you are, you won't be getting a tutu, you'll be getting a tater.
I don't know why John's call really tickled me this morning. His enthusiasm was infectious. I enjoyed it. But 4 hours though to make a portion of chips.
We know what his favourite educational film is. Goodbye, Mr. Chips. And
you got any more of these? You're going to keep going. You've been sat there thinking about them, haven't you, Ian?
I've been sat there writing them down. Yeah. No, of course I haven't.
And this is it, Ian, because and John will be pleased to hear this. We need to grow potatoes, we need to grow cereals, grains, and we need protein sources in this country because the world we live in now, right? It's an increasingly destabilised one. It's an increasingly dangerous one. Matt's in Birmingham. Morning, Matt.
Morning, Ollie. I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Hard work. No one wants to do hard work these days. So you're saying about people growing their own stuff. You've got no chance. Majority of people just want to go to the shops and just pick a bag of potatoes up. Apart from John, you uncle.
John has captured the imagination of the public in a way. Yeah. Well, I sort of knew he would. He was endearing.
He was brilliant. He's innocent. He needs protecting at all costs.
Protect John in Sheffield at all costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Just going to read out a couple more text messages on John in Sheffield's call. Because I mean it, he's captured the imagination. Kyle via WhatsApp, I've just forwarded a chipper from Amazon. Thanks, John. You've inspired me to go air fry some homemade chips. Andrea, John and his 4-hour chip processing plus a 24-hour stay awake run up to tackle the next round of homemade chips in the student flat. That's the storyboard makings of a Christmas TV advert, I feel. You're right, Andrea. And I also loved the insight that Falafel King East is actually west of Falafel King proper in Sheffield as well. One of life's great mysteries. I don't know if we'll ever get to it. Okay. Thanks for all of your calls. Thanks for all of your texts. Thanks for all of your messages on that one. We're going to push the conversation on a little bit now, and we're going to talk about the scenes in Amsterdam on Thursday night, the football-based violence, the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, the Ajax fans, fighting in the street, provocation, racist chanting, violence. It has all the makings of a, relatively glossy, I would say, 1980s tabloid story. But I think it hits on something deeper. I think it connects to our interest, fascination, fixation with violence. The fact that young men love to fight, and indeed British people love to fight more generally. My question for you, simply, why do young men love to fight?